Maybe MJ was right. Why would the city need me when it has you?
Well, Kazuma, what score would you award that explosion?
-90, you jackass! Now what? You blew us all up and we're totally helpless!
Yes. I'll just bring it all down.
What's going on, guys? Shadow Gamer AX coming at you with another game review for you guys today. It's been a very long time since we've done a review of any kind because, you know, one, it's not really getting these videos out there, and two, not really much you want to see me rant about shit. So, but now we did the review. I remember at some point we did a review on Spider-Man 1. So let's do Spider-Man 2. The story is total ass.
What? Oh no!
I would personally like to know who was writing this story and the script so that I can fire him 10 times over. Shaggy smoking a blunt, Darth Vader in the fetal position, and Sonic fucking Amy. What word am I spelling? F-I-R-E.
Fire?
Yeah, that's right, you're fired.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
This isn't how you write a Spider-Man story. I am sorry. The writing was so obvious that you were going to replace Spider-Man with Miles Morales. Here's the difference. A lot of people don't care about Miles Morales. They buy this game for Peter Parker. Okay? There's a lot of people out there that don't like different characters aside from Peter Parker. And that's totally fine. If you like Miles Morales, good on you. But a lot of us don't. Now, I'll admit that I liked a little bit of the story of Miles Morales. Not a lot. I liked him in the first game. But this one, you had him totally acting like the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I'll never stop looking for Uncle Ben's killer. Never.
And they focused on that narrative the entire game. And you're doing that with Miles Morales trying to find Martin Lee. What the hell? Every time the story shifted back to Miles, it was always focused on finding Martin Lee. Obsessively. Let's talk about Peter, how he was cucked throughout this game. He was acting like Princess Pinch. One hit. That's enough to justify him knocking him out.
Will you please stop calling me that?
Hang in there, Princess Pinch! We've come here to rescue you!
If you're gonna do something, let's get the ball rolling! I'm in a really depressing situation here, okay?
In those boss battles that actually mean something, Miles has to bail Princess Pinch out of the situation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when Spider-Man had the black suit, the original source material, he basically got out of that black suit within his own power and his own will. This version had him cucked to where he can't even take care of himself. He has to fight the boss instead of Spidey. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't like the fact that they made Black Cat look like a damn lesbo. I don't really find that appealing at all. If you want my preference for Black Cat, why don't you go play Spider-Man 2 back in 2004? Out of all the interpretations, that one is the most accurate at this point. I don't like how they told the story. I like how Venom played. I don't like the story. There has been so many problems with this story, and I learned from the best in the industry in film college. I learned a lot about narrative and storytelling. This story has been executed very, very poorly. The writers was atrocious. It's like they gave this stupid script to their Z team. Not the A team. The A team must have taken a vacation up to Hawaii or something because this game is flat out horrible. I'm beginning to think that this company, Sweet Baby Inc., is partially to blame for all of this, especially Sony for allowing this to happen.
Why? Look, what's the point? What's the point?
What they do is they force identity politics and stupid, uninteresting stories. They shoehorn this into their games. This game is a prime example of what they shoehorned. There's a mission on the side missions where you have to get a gay couple to go to homecoming together. Why?
Hey, you with the big fishers! I got a bone to pick with you! How does a dead guy win?
Hold it. I'd like it if you removed your hand.
I'd like you to remove your head from your ass! But I don't see that happening anytime soon!
I thought this was Spider-Man. Not a dating sim, for God's sakes.
The quest all of you were waiting for me to talk about, where you help a gay kid ask this dude out to homecoming. Spider-Man is wasting his fucking time helping some gay kid ask out another gay kid. Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell, man? It's not like this is fun. No, you just jump around some rooftops and shoot some webs at some shit, and the game forces you to watch. I literally tried to leave, and the game forced me to web back onto the lamppost over and over again. This is what I'm talking about. This is how you know it's propaganda. They're shoving it down your fucking throat. And no, it being an optional side quest is not an excuse, especially since you had no way of knowing what you would see what this quest contained unless you read it on the internet. It's just even worse. There's a side quest where you play as Miles' deaf girlfriend walking around spraying graffiti on walls. But what's actually hilarious about this mission, well, two things. First of all, you can actually turn on audio for this deaf girl that's being read by a real deaf person.
The final curtain, my friend.
And then the worst part about the game is to this mission where Venom turns MJ into Scream. And boy, does she scream her ass off, let me tell you. For almost 30 minutes, I had to listen to her lecture me about being a man and having no job and no life and this and that and the other. Good job, Insomniac. I'd love to listen to her bitch about her fucking problems. Opinions are like assholes, right?
Sometimes I feel like I'm just wading through a giant sea of shit. Oh well, morality and justice have never really suited me. Words like that are surprisingly similar to the stuff that comes out of your ass. I have about as much sympathy for those kids as I do for people who preach world peace while they're dropping bombs on their neighbors.
She's like on this real tangent on Peter. And what's funny to me is like she's talking his ear off and saying all the things about her faults. You can't pay the mortgage. You can't hold a job. Only one job you care about, that's Spider-Man.
About you! You can't keep a job! You can't pay the mortgage! What did he do without Spider-Man? Look how it's...
Boy, this makes daytime television look like a high art form.
No boy!
Okay, Mom. While he's trying to save her stupid ass. I don't know, I think out of unlikability, I dislike MJ infinitely more so than Miles, okay? And that's saying something.
Mary Jane is obviously the self-insert of the lead writer for this game, and this rant must be directed toward her ex-boyfriends or some shit, because this is some of the most out-of-touch, narcissistic bullshit I think I've heard in any piece of entertainment. It reads like a parody. And before anybody says that, oh, that's the point because she's got a symbiote on her, so that's not really what she thinks. No, the symbiote is enhancing what she already felt. And that's why Peter is constantly fucking apologizing and acting like a bitch the entire time.
I can literally go all day about the story. But let's focus on the combat, traversal, and the rest of the game. I like that part of the game. If I told you that if you bought the game, I would play it for the traversal and the combat. Ignore the story. In my opinion, the traversal and the combat are basically the highlights of this game. Is it worth buying? For story purposes, no. Gameplay purposes, if you're just wanting to go down and swing around the city and have some fun beating the shit and the snot out of bad guys, it's a game for you. Spider-Man 2 is infinitely more so better than this one. Spider-Man 1 is monumentally better than this one. Because the first one had a good balance of gameplay and story. And when you're making video games, you got to convince the player, hey, this story is interesting. Maybe I should entice them to play a little bit more, yeah? First one had an enticing story and it had great gameplay. The story had a great sense of loss, sense of risk, sense of urgency, and it told it in a way that was great. This game falls flat because it didn't have that element. They added some cool little new combat mechanics that were kind of nice in a way. Especially the traversal. They added the loop-de-loop kind of mechanic, and they added the, which is my personal favorite, is the slingshot mode, where you can slingshot yourself across the city, like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 from the Tobey movies. I still think that the combat could have been a lot better what they could have done with it. So I felt like a lot of it was copy and paste, but there were some new additions, which was nice. The suits are one of my biggest complaints of the game, because it felt like you had more creative freedom with Miles than you did with Peter, but that's just me. Gameplay is really good. The swinging mechanics are great. I like the new addition of the web wings. The combat and the traversal is one of the highlights of this game. I'm going to give Spider-Man 2 a 4 out of 10. The reason I am giving this score is because you failed to execute when it mattered most. Especially when you set the bar for what a Spider-Man game should be. It is fairly disappointing, to say the least. I was expecting more out of Insomniac. You set the bar for what these types of games can be, and that's not a bad thing, but you can't blame people for holding you to the exact same standard of what you did with the first game. And then there was talk about them losing every single awards that they were nominated for. You want to know why you lost every single category in that award ceremony show? It's because you were nominated for the wrong reasons. You don't deserve anything regarding story, because the story was told in such a way that pissed a lot of people off. Had you been nominated for something in gameplay purposes, I'm sure you would have won at least one. If anything, you deserve to lose all of those awards that you were nominated for. You can agree with me and you can disagree with me. That's totally fine. At the end of the day, this is my opinion on this game, not anybody else's. This is my thoughts, not yours. So, thanks for listening.